Hey everybody, I'm Greg Sowell, and this is Why Am I, a podcast where I talk to interesting people and try and trace a path to where they find themselves today. My guest this go around is Larry Sowell. He says, Sowell, I say Sowell. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? So this is a special episode and something I'd honestly like to do more of, so if you find this format interesting, let me know, because actually it was pretty fun. Larry is my uncle who lives in one of the oldest towns in Texas called Nacogdoches. Actually, I was born there. Didn't live there long, but I was born there. And one of his favorite pastimes is picking pecans in the various parks kind of in the area, right? There's not a whole lot to do there, but this is one of those things. So we go for a walk and talk and pick out some good ones here and there. But we go from talking about various species of nuts to him as a child, and then over to children leaving the nest. I mean, it's one of those all over the place conversations, which are exactly the kind I really enjoy. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Larry.
So, you ever heard of the Goodman Bridge?
Larry, I haven't heard of anything in Nacogdoches.
It was one of the first bridges that went over Angelina River,
Really?
and that's it. See that thing?
This is, did
they
move
tore
here?
it down
I like that.
and put it over and put it back together.
I was like, this doesn't look like the Angelina
Holly
River.
hated that bridge. You go across that thing, cross that river.
Across the river.
But it's pretty cool that they did that. They saved it.
I'm a big bridge fan, actually. Christy and I, for a while, did a series where we take pictures together on bridges. And when we went to Memphis, I met this fella named Jimmy Ogle because he was doing these bridge tours. And you get to walk across them. And he walked us across a really cool one. I took Christy when she came to visit, and it moves, with the traffic. She was like, I'm done with bridges. Yeah.
So this is where we've been finding a lot of them. There's some really good trees in here. And if you look up, there's pecans everywhere. There's going to be a ton of them on this tree.
All right. Well, when do you think you got started picking pecans? Like, were you a little bitty kid doing this stuff?
I tried to remember back. I can't remember not picking up pecan. I mean, I've been doing it for so long.
Part of life.
Yeah, I was doing just a few of them to begin with. And then we started, I just started finding trees around Memorial Hospital. Used to have tons of them. And so we started finding the different varieties, the long-shelled ones, the little bitty ones.
Yeah, I see little pieces here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a pretty thriving squirrel population?
Yes.
I thought you might.
We definitely do over here. And we kind of use the squirrels to go by. See that one right there? You can tell which trees they go. See them running across over there? You can usually tell where the nuts are because they'll go to those trees.
Oh, yeah, the Frisbee golfers?
Uh-huh. Got to kind of keep your eyes open. I don't see any of them this morning. Sometimes there'll be 6 or 7 groups coming through, a whole bunch of them.
Were you guys actually born and raised in Nacogdoches? I have no idea. Where are you guys from?
I was born in Oakland, California.
Are you really?
Me and Gary were born at the Naval Hospital in Oakland, California.
So you're those California people everybody complains about coming to Texas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were 2 months old when we came back from California, and we were on the last train, passenger train, that came to Nacogdoches. We were on the last load that came to Nacogdoches from California.
Wild.
And they cut off the train.
Like it never ran again?
Never ran again. The passenger train didn't.
That's wild. But you guys ruined it for everybody, huh? Let's see. Well, did you guys have family out here? I mean, is that what brought you here?
My grandma and grandpa were from Martinsville, Texas, and they were sharecroppers. Look at you.
Hey, got him.
All right. I'm headed to this tree. This is the one where all the pecans were on it.
Mm.
Yeah, and Mama was a state champion volleyball player in Martinsville.
No way, really?
Yeah. They went up to the 10th grade, and then they had to come to Nacogdoches. But yeah, Mom and my dad they were all from here. My other grandma from my dad's side was from St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So do you only get them when they're out of the hole, or do you
Yes.
get them when they're still green?
Yes, just the ones out of the hole. Because if you get the ones that are in it, no, that's the tree right there. I'm looking for a certain tree.
Larry.
Yeah. Yeah, on my mama's side, she had a lot of family here, and every fall, they all used to come up to her house, and we'd kill a hog every fall, about this time of the year, every year.
Like ones you guys were raising, or like a wild one?
My grandpa would raise it, and then they'd all come over and help cut him up.
You know, Granny, my mom's mom, she told me a story one time about how her favorite time of year was when they would slaughter the hogs.
Uh-huh.
She said that as soon as they killed it, she would get her dad to cut a piece off, then she'd run in the house and fry it up. She said it was the best.
See, this is the tree I was looking for.
Dude, there are so many tiny little pecans everywhere.
Yep. And most people don't like these
Why?
because they're so hard to get into.
It just adds more work.
Yes, but they are the tastiest little pecan you ever eat. That's why I said I knew right which tree I wanted to go to. But we have lived here all our lives. The only time that I wasn't here was when I was in Job Corps for 18 months.
Where are we at for Job Corps?
Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Arkansas. I visited there before. It's pretty.
They kicked me out of school because I wouldn't cut my hair.
You were a rebel, weren't you?
I wanted to be.
Yeah. Why do you reckon you wanted to be a rebel so bad?
I don't know.
Did you have a pretty strict home life growing up?
A little bit. Mom didn't want to let us do a whole lot. She used to tickle me some of her sayings, right? She'd say, you can go skating as soon as you learn how. We had a skating ring right across the street from us, right? You can go skating as soon as you learn how. So we didn't get to go skating. So the same thing about swimming. You can go swimming as soon as you learn how.
Yeah. Well,
But it wasn't we was poor, but we didn't realize we were,
yeah.
My grandpa always had a 5-acre garden, huge garden. My papa was what we called him. And he had a pony named Pinto that he used to plow the garden with.
Did you get to ride on Pinto?
Do what?
Did you ride on Pinto?
Oh, yeah, we did. We had to be careful. Because there's a big pear tree, and in the fall, when that thing was loaded with pears, you got on that horse, he'd knock you off under that pear tree.
Pinto. But I mean, it's not like Nacogdoches is a very wealthy town anyway, right? So
There are about 5 really wealthy people here, and they control what businesses come in and what businesses, That's why it has never grown.
really prospered.
It never has grown because they wouldn't let the businesses come in here.
I heard the same thing about Waco, that I think it was after the tornado, that there's really like 1 or 2 big families, and they really kind of,
Control.
what do you call that, hamstringed them?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just really kept a lot of the business down. Otherwise, it would have been much bigger.
See, when I first started working in McGraw Edison, they were paying really good money. And Lone Star and the chicken plant, Bright Coop, they were on the city council, and they said, "You're taking our people away from us." So they said, "We're going to cut the railroad off to you if you don't lower your wages."
Dang.
And so they did.
That sounds like anti competition there.
It was totally.
Yeah.
And the main reason they didn't want you doing it, well, for them, and they kept saying their reasoning was because they didn't want the big. They didn't want it to grow too big. They wanted to keep that small town feel.
Well, you've been here how many years? 60?
Yeah, 60. I'll be 67 this year, and just for that 18 months that I was gone.
Yeah. So is it even recognizable from when you were a kid?
Some of it is.
Yeah?
But most of it's been changed, yeah.
Do you think it still feels the same?
No, it's a little more, back in those days, Mom worked nights and my dad was gone a lot, so we run the streets. we were all over Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they had it was like a Waffle House down in the middle of, over there by SFA, and a lot of students would go over there. That's where they'd study.
Yeah.
So we would go in there, and the cops knew me and Gary by name. I mean,
Did they?
and don't y'all need to be in the bed? So several times they'd take us home. We never got any trouble with them. Yeah, it has changed quite a bit. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I met Holly, and we got married in 79 or 78. Got married in 78. And Wendy was born in 79.
Well, when did you guys meet?
She had just turned 17 when I met her.
All right. Well, how long before you guys got married?
We moved in together July 1st. And then she went, and November 13th is when Matthew was born. She went to Edna Cladney. I mean, she had all this in her head to do this when she met me. So, go ahead and...
Plan was in place.
Yeah, to take... Right. So, and I didn't think I was just helping her, being with her and stuff. And I didn't really know if we was going to get married or anything.
Well, how old were you? 18?
Yes, 19.
You were 19.
So, yeah.
What, how many 19-year-olds would take that on?
Well,
instead of saying,
I don't know.
take a hike?
There's a part of me that I'm so glad when he reached out to her and wanted to meet her, and I could just see, because I'd see her sometimes sitting there crying, and she'd say, "I wonder how he is.
Really?
I wonder if he hates me."
Like, we're talking like 20 years later, 30 years later.
She wonder if he hates me, because I gave him up.
Man, that stuff.
And so
that's bone deep.
And so when we met them, his mother, the mother that took care of him, his mother, right, brought her in a room and sat down and talked to her for 3 hours and showed her all kinds of baby pictures. It was just neat.
That's
we
wild.
drove up to Lubbock, and it really was cool. I mean, God works in mysterious ways, Got to find out that he was all right, and he, we talked to him last night. After we got home, he called us and talked to us. It's just a blessing to be able to know him, to know them.
Wow.
Look at there's a pocket.
Gotta learn the nomenclature. Gotta get in on this. So you're 19, Holly's 17. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And this is my person, and you're sticking with her.
Well, after she came back, I thought she was going to go back to Port Arthur where her home was.
Oh.
And so she didn't. She stayed with me.
She came back for you.
Yeah, she came back and stayed with me. Because I kept sending her letters and sending her flowers and stuff while she was up there. Let her know that somebody was thinking about
Just being Larry.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and then, back in those days, I was into all kinds of stuff, Wrote little marijuanas.
Well, I mean, everybody did back then, didn't
Back
they?
in those days, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And so, when she got pregnant with Wendy, she said no more. And she used to drink with me a little bit back in those days. But
Well,
she
you were
got
never
pregnant.
a big drinker, were you?
I got to where I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot else to do down here, right?
Right. And
Either drank, smoked a little
and
weed, or made babies.
we were fighting a lot. I'd get off work and go drinking with my buddies, you know.
I can't
I
imagine.
didn't know how to be a daddy.
I can't imagine Holly getting into a fight with anybody. I think she's the most stoic person I've ever met. In
Well,
LA.
I'll tell you what. She's real quiet. She was, you know, she had older sisters that always told her, you ain't no good for nothing. You know, how that thing's like.
One of those things.
Yeah, so she had a self, what do you call it?
Self-esteem?
Yes.
issues? Yeah.
Yes. And so it's been a blessing with once I, like I say, we fought a lot, and then I got in my truck one day and said, Lord, we can't keep doing this. Seriously. So I said, Lord, if you can do something with this life, do it. And he has turned it around. We have been so much better since I quit drinking. For the first 20 years of my life, of our marriage, I did drink. And so after that,
Oh, wow. Well, wow.
and then I've been quit a long time now. Because we've been married, this coming January will be 46 years.
46. That's a minute.
Yep.
You ever notice, like, when you tell people how long you've been married, they seem so impressed by it?
Yeah.
Why is that an impressive thing?
Because you look around you. Since y'all been married, how many couples do you know that have got divorced or not together? And
I don't know. Several.
in my age, there's tons of them.
Well, I mean, back then, it was less prevalent then, right? Like when you were younger?
Well, a lot of the people I run around with were,
Hoodlums?
yes, druggies and alcoholics. And so most of them are divorced. I can't think of any of them that are still together.
That was most of my friends, too, believe it or not. I didn't do any of it, but they were the funniest one.
Yep, there you go.
I had, I had the most
See,
fun running around
that's what
with
I
them.
always say. When I drank, I was happy. I was a happy drunk, right?
Well, you're happy all the time. I can't imagine you in any other way, man.
But I got a twin brother that when he was drinking, he'd get angry and want to fight somebody,
I know all too well.
and couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. You know, you can't. When he come back to Nacogdoches, I got so many calls from the clubs, come get him, you know.
Cool.
And I went up there one night to get him, and the guy that beat him up helped me get him in the truck. And Gary was hollering at me, hit him, Larry, hit him. I said, shut up and get in the truck. Man, come on.
Yeah.
Some of us grow up. Some never do. I mean, I grew out I look back on it and say, how in the world did that woman ever put up with me, you know? But we still have our moments.
Everybody does. Yeah. To be honest, from my childhood, the only memories I have of Gary are really scary ones.
Yeah.
I don't, it's just the parts of my brain that were trying to keep me safe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, remember this. I remember the unpredictability,
Exactly.
because I could come home and one day he would be laughing, and then the next day I could come home and he would be the monster under my bed, you know?
Yeah. Well, see, and Erbil was the same way. And, I mean, Erbil was so mean.
Is that your dad?
Oh, my God.
Herbal?
Yeah, Erbil Nelson Sowell. And so he named us Larry and Gary Nelson Sowell. You know? So, yes. Yeah, we went down there one summer, and Timmy's dead now, my stepbrother. He brought me in there and showed us in the room where Erbil had got drunk, and he had pushed her head into a wall, and it was a big old indention. And she spent several days in the hospital because of it.
Mm.
But then she went right back to it.
Because that's what you did.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Why is it that he wound up like that, and I'm all the way against? I'm never laid a hand on that woman in my life. I mean, I No way. I don't see that.
I read this book, or parts of it, I haven't finished it, called Far From the Tree. And it's talking about our personality and kind of where it comes from. And it was saying, because they do a lot of studies with twins, right? And it's usually twins that are like separated at birth and don't know it. And then they come back later in life and they find each other. And then they look at all the things that they like, the proclivities, the things they like, the things they don't like, personality traits. And they said it looks like about 50% of who you are is baked into your DNA. The stuff you're going to like, whether you like mustard or ketchup, you know, all that stuff.
That's crazy.
It's like baked in your DNA. Then they say about 25% of it is the people you surround yourself with, your friend group, when you're young, growing up. And they said 25% is everything else. So
that's not.
Maybe that part of your brain is in that 50%. It's just baked in your DNA, you know?
Yeah. I'm more like Mom's side, you know, calm and all. And Gary's like herbal, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty relaxed myself.
Good.
What's funny is a lot of my personality, I think or a portion of it is developed in spite of Gary.
Yes,
So
there you go.
the reason I've never drank or done drugs is because of him. Because in my head as a kid, I thought, you know, he chose that stuff over me.
Yep.
You know, and it also made him terrifying. And
Completely.
you know,
Yeah, us too. And a part of me, I regret going to Job Corps a lot because I left Rhonda, Jenny, and Chuck with him. And he was so mean to them. He was just so mean to them. One night I came back, after I had been back, I got me a job immediately after I come back. You know, they found me the job before I ever left Job Corps. I had that job in Nacogdoches.
Oh.
And so one weekend I had taken before I met Holly, I had taken a girl out, and I got a call from Rhonda telling me how mean Gary was being to him. So I told him, just meet me down here they come out of the house and met me down by the corner, and I took them over to these friends of mine's house, and Gary looked for them all night, which was good. I was glad because it freaked him out that they left. It was the best thing that I had ever done. So Rhonda said he quit being so mean to him. I said, good. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I don't know where his, you know, you do know that he's been married at least 5 times now?
I know.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of broken people out there.
Yeah.
You know what I've learned is a lot of people will grow up with, you know, parents that treat them that way, and for whatever reason they associate that behavior with love, you know, and
Yeah.
whenever they
Go let her empty. I think she's, as many as she's getting in there, she's dropping out.
full up, yeah. And I've found that those people, they will, when they find somebody they really like, they're gonna treat them in that real bad way that they prefer. It's like somehow they have a radar for it.
Here, Holly,
So-
you need to empty? See, I did good. I didn't wear a coat.
Yeah, I'm wearing 2.
Look at Greg. He's getting good at this, Holly.
Got one underneath here.
I seen you look like you was dropping them out.
Holy cow.
And, yeah, these are some good sizes right here, too. Look,
Yeah,
these
yeah,
are bigger.
yeah.
These are bigger than the ones that we were picking
Well, yeah,
up.
Holly's finding all the good ones, man.
He's like Jekyll and Hyde, though.
Yeah, I
I
noticed.
try to be even. I try to be, you know, even keel. Right, Holly?
You know, it's
Do what? Right. She's
funny, like his unpredictability made me decide to not get angry and to like always control my emotions. Well, I mean, partially him and partially growing up with Amy taught me to control my emotions. Because
Amy can make you mad in a hurry.
well, she was pretty dangerous herself. She's done some pretty despicable stuff to people.
Yeah.
Growing up with her, it was like Gary 2.0, man. So I learned if I showed any emotion around her, then she would just attack. So learn to control all that stuff. But yeah, like the anger thing, I think I learned to control it so long and suppress it that I don't feel it anymore. Like that's not part of me anymore. It's
good.
It's weird.
What about, how's Miss Kathy doing? Your mama?
I think she's doing all right.
She moved to where?
She's back in Waco.
Oh, is she? Okay.
She went down to Baltimore for a few years.
Wow.
And then,
that's pretty
got,
cool.
Got Shelly to pack up and move down. Back to Waco, which Baltimore seems so much more interesting than Waco.
Yeah,
maybe it's just because it's different, you know.
Well, it seems like you and Chrissy just like to do all kinds of neat stuff. Y'all just always doing something different.
I like to discover new things, and I've learned that it's fun to discover new stuff, but it's like twofold the enjoyment if I'm doing it with her. I don't know.
That's the way I feel about this one.
My running buddy.
We go during the summer, and last year we did a lot of fishing. We went all over the place. State park.
Well, didn't you guys do a bunch of NASCAR too?
Oh yeah. I got my Atlanta hat on. Jeffrey took us to Atlanta, and man, that was fun.
What time of year was that?
We like to froze. It was in March.
It was cold then.
It was 34 degrees in Atlanta, Holly, when we went. I mean, it was almost freezing.
I've heard people refer to it as Hotlanta, so you're there the wrong time of year for that.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's the time of year we wanted to go. We didn't want to go when it was hot, but we didn't want it to be that cold. But it was fun. We had a good time. Jeffrey's got one of those BB and what do you call them? Bread and a house in the neighborhood. I mean, we was 5 minutes from the racetrack.
That's cool.
And for a weekend, he got the house, and that was cool. What do you call them? Not bed and breakfast.
Airbnb?
Airbnb, yeah. The bed and breakfasts are like the hotel type things, right?
Yeah. Well, what do you think it does for you living in a little town like this? I say little. It's like you guys are like population 34,000. No, 32. Lufkin's bigger than you guys. I didn't realize.
Oh.
They got you by 2,000.
Oh. Well, they've got a lot more businesses, a lot more things going on. Yeah. A lot more eating places. Yeah. Yeah, and I used to know a lot of people. We don't do a lot of stuff with a lot of people. We just mostly stay to ourselves. We go to a church called Timber Creek that is a satellite church. The church is out of Lufkin, but they have a big screen over there by the bowling alley in Nacogdoches where they have church. So we've been going over there. Every now and then we'll go to Lufkin to the big church.
Does it feel different when you go to the big church?
Yeah, where you can actually see the preacher instead of him just being on a big screen.
You feel more connected?
Yeah, a little bit, but we just go here. We've been trying to find another church since ours closed down, so we've been kind of stuck in the middle, because I like doing stuff.
I know you do. You like staying busy. I do too, though.
I like being a part of it. The other church, I was a bus driver. I was a sound man. And anytime they had baptisms, I was always in the middle of all that. I did a lot of stuff. And
what's the feeling that gives you going to church, doing all that stuff?
That people are getting to know who Jesus Christ is. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in God anymore, but He's real, and He's real in my heart.
Well, He's real to you.
Do what?
He's real to you, man.
Yes, He is.
That's what I say to people. Like stuff it's true to them, then it's true to you. It doesn't matter what I believe or think.
No, but it does to me. It does matter to me what you believe.
Yeah,
because I believe in heaven, and I want you to be there when I go, Because you know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it.
Well, I don't think you're going to be lonely up there. There's going to be plenty of people.
Yeah, but
As friendly as you are, you'll make friends.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't worry
it would not be good without Greg there.
I think it'd be fine.
No, I don't think so.
There'd be millions of Gregs up there.
Yeah, but not one like you.
Yeah, that's all right. You think if you go to heaven, family still, like, earthly concepts still, like, persist?
Yeah.
Like mother, father, you think all that still retains?
Heaven is you're still going to be doing things in heaven. It's not, people can get the idea you're going to be floating around on a cloud, and that ain't it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What kind of stuff you think you'll be doing?
Whatever you like to do when you're here on earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that.
So you think you'll be in kind of an existing form, like
I think I'll still be picking up pecans.
still shaped like a human, all that stuff? Because I've talked to some people
with a better body. That just fall on you?
No, that was over there. I almost got one. With a better body, one that doesn't ache and creak all the time.
There it is.
I hear you.
See, what they call a glorified body.
Glorified.
Yeah. See, I believe in the rapture. You know what the rapture is?
Yeah, where all of the righteous will disappear, and the only thing that remains is, I guess, the unclean.
Yeah. See, there's one of them.
Unanointed.
You got to kind of watch where they're throwing to. Yeah, he's coming to this one. Is he coming to this one? No, he's going to that one. They got so many of them.
So you think it's on the way? Think you'll see it in your lifetime?
I do.
Do you really?
Look at what's happening in Israel right now.
Man, that's a bad business, isn't it?
Huh.
Mm.
See, they're all after him now. All the other countries around there are coming after him. So, yeah, that's Armageddon. It's the beginning of Armageddon.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was a happen chance that I'm standing here talking to you. I think that God allowed it to happen so I could talk to you about it.
You reckon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Out there saving them souls, huh?
Is Christy, she likes to take pictures, huh?
Honestly, we haven't taken pictures in years. But she was like, well, if you guys are going to be walking around, I'm going to find something to keep me busy.
Well, it's beautiful out here anyway. This is a good spot to...
She kind of, every now and then she talks about doing it again.
Oh, she used to. Oh, some big ones on this tree. Right by your left foot.
Oh, yeah. We used to, we were wedding photographers for almost 10 years.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So how many of those people are still married?
You know what's funny is one of the couples, this Ken and Dina, we didn't shoot their wedding, but we did their engagement pictures out in Leahy, Texas, I think is what it's called. We drove way out there and took some engagement pictures with them. They were really nice folks. Well, we went and ate breakfast on the square this morning at Dolly's.
Mm-hmm. Dolly's?
And so we were just walking around a little bit, killing some time. And they're doing that market on Main this morning.
Yep.
And, some people were setting up and we're walking by. And it's Dina Shipley.
Oh, wow.
That lady from that couple. They used to live in Huntsville. Now they're living in Crockett. She's selling soap at the market on Main. I mean,
that's cool.
How small a world are we living in?
Yeah.
And how random a chance was it for us to bop into her?
Do you see these pecans? This is a bitter pecan. This is one that's, they say the deer like them.
Yeah. Are they good in like pies and stuff?
Not to eat.
That almost looks like a peach pit.
What they look like. They are.
I wouldn't even know that was a pecan.
I tried one time and oh my gosh, their name. Just to see what it tasted.
No saving grace there.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I've talked to people before that think that like all people are energy, God is energy. When you die, you just become some kind of energy. But you think you're actually in a corporeal form. So
yes, you are. You'll have a glorified body when you go to heaven.
Glorified. What does that mean?
That means no aches and pains, and you'll still know people too, see?
That's cool.
We'll still know each other.
That's neat.
This one has a lot on it, but I think a lot of people get to this one first.
Right here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, man, this is fun, picking up pecans with you.
Yeah.
And remembering what happened. Oh, yeah.
Way back in the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd go crazy living in a town like this. So small.
Mm.
Although, I got a car. I can go somewhere.
Do what?
Said I got a car. I could go somewhere. See some stuff.
Yeah.
I like little downtowns. Like your little, like on the square and stuff. Those little shops.
Do what, Holly? Yeah, he said they're having some kind of on the square. And these are the actual boards that was on it. They're 6 or 8 inches thick.
Big guys. You used to drive a car across the snow.
Uh-huh.
Y'all having any luck?
Little bit.
Oh, yay. That is good.
Yeah, and then when they're there, there's a bunch of them.
Uh-huh. Like I was telling him, it's a pocket. We call it a pocket.
Like they matter of Halloween.
I don't know. Yeah, they wax everywhere. I don't know what they do. We'd come back after Halloween, and I'm going, what did they do? We come over here right after this limb had fallen, and we picked up probably almost half a bucket of pecans off of it. Hey. Yeah, that's where it tells about what it is, the old Goodman Bridge.
Ancient.
Uh-huh. Pretty cool.
Say what year it was built in?
It probably does. It cost $4,000 to build it when it was put on.
1932.
Uh-huh.
I was a little ways back.
It is. That's when Mama was born, 1932. Uh-huh. Angelina River.
Yeah, 18-wheel.
Yes, ma'am. That's what. But she remembers going across it. She hated it because that thing would sway with you when
Time could come through. If somebody else was coming, you had to stop.
it was a neat old bridge.
Monument to engineering, man.
No. When they tore it down, I thought it was a good thing they spent the money to put it over here. I said, that was a great idea. Yeah. I bet there's over 100 trees out here. And that's what was crazy. Last year there was none of them that produced 3, and this year just most of them has something on them.
Missions were right.
Yeah. She's still looking at some of them over there.
Well, how was it for you when Jeff picked up and moved away?
We kind of saw it coming, but it was,
I mean, he went to Houston first, right?
yeah. And we could go. We went down there pretty regular. Me and Holly did. And we'd say, meet us over somewhere and we'll buy you dinner. We did that. Then when he moved to Colorado, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, we miss him because we,
Yeah, you guys.
it's funny. He
family oriented.
he has a whole lot of different values, things that he thinks is right than we do. But I
Really?
try not to argue with him. Politics.
Politics. I was gonna say, is it politics that you guys did?
We'll get into it heavy.
Will you really?
Yeah.
Why does he bother arguing? To feel
He
important?
will quick. I don't know. But he will quick tell me how dumb I am for being a Republican and, all this. Yeah,
Well,
it's okay.
I don't know.
There's your one.
Yes, sir. I don't ever argue politics with anybody. I just
You believe what you believe.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's part of it, but too, it's arguing doesn't change anybody's mind.
That sure does.
It certainly doesn't change their heart. So
Yeah, this
not-
tree's got some good sized ones on it.
gonna get anywhere with that. But I don't know. When it comes to that stuff, I usually just try and what I want to do. Number one is take care of people,
There you go.
and whoever's taking care of the most people is usually the folks I kind of head towards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are just me, very self-centric.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's a very good way
Yeah.
to be.
That's Trina. Oh, my Lord.
But you know what I've also learned is that a lot of times people are kind of made that way, you know? Like if you really sit down and talk to them, there's a defined reason why they came to believe that thing. And,
Yep,
you know, it doesn't just come out of nowhere.
exactly.
And something else I learned is like when somebody has a traumatic event happen, the brain tries to fix itself, right? It tries to heal itself. But it doesn't think, oh, what's the most healthy way I can deal with this? It says, what's the shortest path to resolution? So usually it picks something unhealthy.
Huh. You know, you was talking about how dramatic it was with Gary. I was telling Mama one time, I kept remembering a knife hitting the wall beside her head. And she looked at me and she said, how in the world could you remember that? She said, you were 3 years old. But it was so traumatic that I remembered it. And it was my my real dad, Erbil, threw a knife at her and it hit the wall right beside her head.
Holy cow.
You know, it's like you say, some of those things, and maybe, I don't know if that's why, you know, Gary's always told me I was too weak, you know. I wasn't, you know, I'll back down from things instead of argue, like you say, instead of arguing, I'll back away from it. I won't.
But you know what else I've noticed with you?
What's that?
And growing up, there were no other male figures in my life that did it. You're the only one that would show emotion.
Yes.
And
show emotion.
well, to me, it was dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've as the older I get, I've grown to appreciate that in the people around me. Because, I mean, to me, that's the real strength.
Yep.
You know, to show what you really think or what you really feel, even though you might get attacked.
Yeah.
You know, to me, that's real strength. I've always liked that about you.
She got to pick her up or full. That's what I said.
Have you thought of it as kind of a weakness? Yeah,
Sometimes. That's because I had been told that I, you know, don't need to show emotion. If you do show it, it needs to be aggressive, you know.
But you fought against that because, I mean, you've been Larry as long as I've known you.
Well, I try to be.
Is that just you knew what was right and you didn't really care what anybody else said?
Well, that's what I've tried to be. Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough. 'Cause, yeah, like we were talking about last night, you're kind of the only steadfast person in our family out here in East Texas.
That's sad.
The only one, you know, like solid footing.
Well, you know, I'm proud of you and Jeffrey. Y'all done good. You just, you know, in spite of what's going on around you, you have thrived, both of you.
Well, there's no inspired. I mean, Jeff had you and Holly.
And
I mean,
I wasn't exactly the best dad either.
you were an amazing role model. And for somebody who's fighting to survive, you know, working all the time.
Yeah, buddy.
I understand this. Like I can totally understand that. Because I've struggled with that myself too, you know, just putting too much of myself into to work, putting too much emphasis on, like putting too much of my self-value on the work I produce.
Yeah.
But also I have the luxury of the work I do earns more.
Yeah.
You know, than, I mean, you've been a welder for
you know, and I loved it for all those years, and now I hadn't even thought about it. I don't even, it don't even, but I'm telling you, our relationship as a couple has gotten so much better, and we were surviving, you know, she did her thing, she cooked and took care of me, and I worked, and that was pretty much it.
That was the deal.
We didn't really have any, you know, we didn't have a honeymoon when we got married.
Really?
We didn't, no. We went on with the work, you know. My mama and 2 and 3 preachers was in there when we got married. Brother Dion was the one that married your mom and Gary, and he married me and Holly, but he wasn't sure if he could do it because he was ordained in Louisiana So he got 2 preachers that he knew. He was talking to them anyway and brought them with him, you know. So we wound up with 3 preachers and my grandma when we got married.
Sounds like an exorcism.
In that old house out there, you know where that old house? You probably don't. Appleby Sand Road. It's halfway. It's in between Appleby Sand and Logansport Road. I think the old house burned down, but it was a neat old where we got married. A big long porch on the front of it. Those things that your mama took were over on Ritchie Street. Where you at, Holly Angela? She done got a mile away from us.
Mm-hmm. Or we got a mile away from her?
Yeah, we're walking fast. I always do that.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, heads up. You don't see any.
Can you get clocked with a Frisbee?
I know, and them things are hard. Them that they use as the drivers are hard.
Yeah.
Let me go back to her and see if she needs to dump. Because we're headed for those trees right down there. There's some really good ones right down there.
Yeah. I think,
Holly, need to dump? Did you say no?
I think Jeff and Wendy were really fortunate to have you as a role model.
Well, I thank you for saying that. I never thought I was a good role model at all.
Why?
Yeah. I had my own agendas. Back in those days, I did drink a lot.
You know, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't just like making them, I like listening to them too. This one, there was this lady named Whitney on there, and she said, when the light of awareness shines on you, you don't have to feel shame about how messy your room is. The idea being, if you didn't realize that, like, I wasn't doing this thing, and then as soon as you do, you don't have to feel shame about how you didn't realize any of this stuff. That's been a big one for me.
That's cool.
Because there's been a lot of times in my life where I wasn't supporting Christy or the kids in the right way, and as soon as I figure it out, I correct it, right? But
yeah, me too.
Can't go and change the past. So
nope, you sure can't. Yep, that's
no matter what I want to do. It's given me a lot of solace. It's also given me a lot of patience and empathy and forgiveness for others.
Cool.
Because they just haven't had the light turn on yet.
Holly, let's head that way. Here, you don't have enough to dump? Huh? Gonna dump? What?
And they vacuum all us.
Oh, gee. They don't just leave the clip-ins, how they vacuum them.
Yeah, it looks like they're all been vacuumed.
Well, there's a few. We're getting a sound. We're gonna go all the way down here. Yeah. There had, yes, a whole lot more. We go to the dentist's office. Or go to the dentist's office, Al. How long y'all hanging around?
I don't know.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me. You've been enlightening.
Yeah.
Make me remember stuff.
Well, I honestly, I don't, this side of the family, I don't know anything about it. Or any of the history of it, or...
Yeah.
I really...
Grandma and Papa were sharecroppers when they first got there.
Sharecroppers. That means they were dirt poor.
Uh-huh. So when you had dirt poor. So if y'all come out to the house, I'll show you the bed that was given to my mama and Papa when they got married. She gave it to me and Holly. Iron bed, you know, it's really neat old bed. And we put it together and put it up above the stairs. You know, it's pretty cool.
You like hanging on to mementos and stuff like that?
Some stuff, yeah. Something. You know, that she gave it to me and Holly, and she said, now don't tell nobody. Because everybody else would have wanted it. See, you can tell if they're any good because the squirrels get in them, and they take one bite out of them, and then they spit it back out.
Yeah, they just want to lick on it so you won't take it.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But that don't bother me none. I'm not worried about squirrel spit. Yeah, she's right. They looks like they vacuumed it. And so if you get into those, they're too green.
Will they ripen on the ground and open up and they're all right, or they have to on
No,
the tree?
most of the time they won't. They have to on the tree.
Mm.
Now, if it's split open and you can see the pecan in it, they're good. But if they're solid, forget about it.
Mm.
Yeah, look. That's squirrel. He's knocking limbs down out of this tree right here.
Well, are you surprised Wendy stayed in Nacogdoches? Did you think she was going to run off?
Yeah, but I'm glad she did, you know. We get to hang around with Wendy a lot.
A lot.
Her and Sethers, yeah, you can see he's up in there knocking limbs down. Hey, squirrel. Maybe he'll knock us a pecan down.
It's pretty cool. I think my kids are going to have itchy feet. I think they're going to get up and go pretty quick.
What is there to do in Nacogdoches? Nothing.
Man, nothing.
But see, that's the whole point. There's hardly any of the, like carpenters and welders anymore. Most people are going to school for lawyers and, all kinds of stuff, which is fine, but you got to have brick masons and...
Tradesmen.
Yeah.
Tradespeople.
There's no trade schools hardly anymore.
Yeah.
I think I was right. This tree is loaded. If you look up in there, you can see them. They're just pecans everywhere, but they... Yeah, they might have. She thinks they vacuum them up. I don't know. Over there beside them, the new bathrooms over there, there's a big old tree. And I picked up a whole bunch over there 2 days ago. And this is the way we get a lot of our exercise in the fall.
Yeah, it's a good excuse. Get up and go hunt. I've learned that I enjoy competing. Yeah. So if I can turn stuff into little games or competitions, it's fun for me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad to see you and her still together. Marriage can be tough sometimes.
Absolutely. It's funny. The more we communicate, sometimes the tougher it is. Because there was a lot early in our marriage where I just wouldn't say anything. Something would bother me, but I wouldn't say nothing. Just kind of hold it in.
Yeah, that's what Holly does.
The more we've learned to start communicating.
And then when she would tell me, she'd blow up.
Yeah, erupt.
Yeah.
But also...
Yeah, this tree's loaded too. Look at all the pecans up there.
Yeah, some big ones.
Yeah.
Growing up on Pier Street, we were there for a handful of years. There was a yard next to us. It was really big. And they had a bunch of pecan trees. I used to go in there and throw them. I never ate any of them. Pick them up.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, kids are.
Yeah.
Knuckleheads.
Yeah, you were a fun kid, though. You were. You always had that smile on your face. I never knew what it was. Uh-oh, what's he thinking now?
Well, it's like, I don't know. You kind of brought it out at me.
I got a picture of you and Jeff and Wade.
I remember Wade.
Uh-huh. And Wade's turned out real good.
He's a mailman now.
And a fisherman, man. That is always on the lake.
That kid.
Huh?
I remember fishing, and I was done. And then the next day he's like, "Hey man, let's go to the creek." I was like, "No, I'm gonna hang out." It's just too much for me.
Yeah, he loved it. And he still does. He's got a son named Jagger. And Jagger's into weightlifting, and that young man is strong as a bull. And he goes fishing with him all the time. I lost Holly. That's all right. Feel these.
Turning around. Well, it's going to be a pretty one.
Let me get on that. Yeah. You see all of them about to turn loose. They're just hadn't yet. They need a real strong wind. Right over your head there, man. There's a ton of them. Yeah. We just need to wait till we get 15, 20 mile an hour wind, and then they're going to be falling. Yes. And I love Trina, but I don't want the drama. That's why we hang around with Wendy, and we don't, I don't want none of that stuff. I'll go try to, with just a small amount of time with Gary, I can't handle that mouth. Me, you know, he has no respect for anybody the way he talks, and it just aggravates me, you know. When we ride in a car with him, Tyler, it's all we can do just to get there and back. He had that surgery, and he was talking so nasty to those nurses. They were just handling it. They didn't seem to worry about it, you know.
Mm.
Big one, left foot.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's a big. Some of these trees, they got some big ones on them. This one got some big. But you could walk through here all day long, and you're still gonna pick up a few, you know. Another one that's your left foot. I got it.
I'm starting to lose them in these leaves.
I know.
The light's hitting just right.
Yep.
Some of these, just give them a little roll and they pop right out, huh?
Yeah, if they do that, they're good. But those that are in the black shells, those are no good.
Oh, really?
Right. No good in the black shell.
What about the light brown?
You do know I'm colorblind, right?
Are you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
As a bat. Now this one should be good. Yes, light brown. Okay, I got you. But if you kick them and they don't come out, they're no good. Yeah, growing up here, we call that place Rat Hole Hill where we live. There was so many rats in that house. It was terrible.
Was that one of the things you did, trying to make sure your kids didn't have to deal with that kind of mess?
Now you're talking. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Which would be why you worked so hard.
Yep.
Busted your butt so
Yes,
hard.
sir.
I
Try to make sure my family didn't have to live like that. And then I walk over there where Gary's at, and he's living just like that. Broken down old trailer. That's what I told all. I said, it's the choices he's made. You know, I feel bad for him, but I can't feel sorry for him because it's what he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, bottom of a bottle for 50 years, what do you think's going to happen? Probably not
And
good.
this is what I say it is. It's a pride thing. It's all in that pride. I never forget when your mama come over there and said that she'd had enough. She was divorcing. And it was so, you know, ain't no woman going to tell me what to do, because she had told him, look, you need to quit all this drinking or I'm leaving. And he just wouldn't do it. It was just, you know, that pride thing. Tell me what to do. Sometimes we need to look in a mirror.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the other person, it's you, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, now you're talking. I'm going to get you pecan if you don't get it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's, I've realized that's one of the biggest insults somebody could ever pay me, is to say I'm the exact same person today than I was a year ago.
No.
Like, I always want to be getting better. I always want to be growing.
Evolve.
Yeah.
That's the only way I believe in evolving. I don't believe any of that other.
Evolve or die. That's
I mean,
mine.
you gotta get better as a person.
You still don't believe in evolution?
Oh no.
Well, why?
You?
Yeah, 100%.
No way.
Well, all it is it means things slowly change over time to adapt to their environment.
No.
Yeah, do you look up the definition?
That is, but
And also, if you believe in God, why couldn't God have created evolution?
well, he did to an extent,
Well,
but
there
it
you go.
didn't. It was no little worm turned into me and you. I mean, no. He created man. He created beast.
Yeah. Oh, well,
that.
but it doesn't mean you have to forgo the textbook's definition of evolution. You can still believe in that. Because, like, we've seen it with moths, like in the Industrial Revolution in the UK. They were all white, and then a few of them, you know, because everything started getting soot on them. And so the ones that were dark, the handful that were dark, actually survived. All the white ones died off because they were getting, picked off by birds.
Uh-huh.
Well, then those moths were all dark. Well, the Industrial Revolution stopped over there, so all the soot stopped. And then the white ones, those few, the white that were remaining, were the ones that started proliferating, and all the dark ones died out. Right? So it's just evolving, adapting to your environment to survive.
But you don't believe in God? You don't believe in that one ultimate creator?
I believe that some people do, and it brings them peace and solace. And I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take anything away from anybody. If you believe it and it makes you happy, it doesn't hurt anybody else, then I'm all for it. I think if you,
But you don't believe it.
I think if you believe there's a big octopus floating around Mars that's created everything and that makes you happy and brings you peace, I think that's totally cool.
No.
You know what I mean? Because it
I
doesn't
know what you're
hurt-
saying.
It doesn't hurt anybody else. So I think
Yeah.
if it brings you peace and happiness and makes you kinder to other folks, then I'm for it.
There's quite a few on this tree. Look at that. Small pocket.
Small pocket.
No. No, I believe in one true creator. See, the way I see it is God don't cause bad things to happen. The devil is here to do that.
You reckon?
But God's there with you when bad things do happen to help to pick you up. Because the devil's here to kill, steal, and destroy.
So you believe in good and evil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I surely do. Then got warm, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was wearing 2 jackets.
Yeah.
I mean, it was chilly this morning. It was in the 40s.
Yeah, but I saw where it was supposed to warm up to nearly 80 today, and I said, I am not wearing it too much. Yeah, this tree's loaded.
Yeah. I thought it was going to warm up, but I thought, why not just be comfortable until it does?
There you go.
Because I can always take this jacket.
And my comfortable is I like to be a little cool. Yeah, this baby's got a lot of pecans on it. So how do you say it? How do you say pecan?
I say pecan. Not
Some of them say pecan.
pecan. Now, that's what you do if you're stuck in a cabin somewhere and you can't get out. Pee in a can.
Exactly. I've heard some of them people say that's what they were calling them, were pecans. No.
Well, where does Jeff fall in on the religion thing?
He's the one that got me and Holly going to church.
Is he really?
Yeah. And then when he went to college, and he come home and told us that one of the professors asked him to raise his hand if he was a Christian. And there was 3 or 4 of them that raised their hand. And he said from that moment on, he ridiculed them, and give them a hard time. And
The professor did?
yes. And so now he does not believe.
I had somebody tell me that most people lose their religion in college.
Mackenzie, they're eating for Mackenzie for Rhonda's birthday at 11:30 at downtown. How much downtown did y'all walk?
Oh, we just been around the square. Well, we've been
Because the little Mexican restaurant she's talking about is going on down a little bit further down from where y'all were at. That's a new restaurant over there. Yeah, there's a bunch over here. I found a pocket.
No, I think that's it's pretty crappy that professor was ridiculing him.
Yeah, it was.
I think
But
you need to
now-
get a little bit more enlightened and just let people believe what they want. Now, I don't think any belief is unassailable. I think you should re-examine what you think and feel and believe.
Yeah.
Because it should be evolving over time, right?
So, and it has. We've got stronger in our faith, Holly and I have.
Yeah. So I think that's okay, but I don't think you should try and take that away from somebody.
And so when he married Nikki, Nikki is way against, Christianity. I can't say religion because I don't like religion. To me, it's a relationship with Jesus Christ, the one that died for me. And there's so many different religions out there.
Well, for sure, there's a lot of flavors to choose from. It's like a Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, but there's only way to get to God. That's through Jesus Christ.
Why does religion have to be so exclusionary? Right? It's
I
like,
don't think it's exclusionary.
think about it. Most of them are like, we have the answers. If you don't do it the way we say,
Right.
you're going to somewhere. It's like
It's
most
like
of
the
Christianity
Church
does
of
that.
Christ. Church of Christ said,
Oh, the Mormons.
no, just no. Well, there's the Mormons too, but just the Church of Christ. They say that if you don't go to their church, you're not going to heaven.
Yeah.
They're Christians. They believe, but
Yeah.
and they believe you have to be baptized in their water. That. So,
Well, that's interesting.
and they don't believe in singing in church. Music, but all through the Bible they had all kinds of instruments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't,
Yeah.
you can't say that.
Yeah. I just wish more religions were more inclusive. Yeah. Just instead of exclusive. Like you have to be
Well, I don't.
on our team or you're
Well,
not going to heaven.
Mine is the way I see it is cover to cover. If it's in the Bible, I believe it. That's not exclusive. It's just I don't like different ministries that pick one thing out of there. Those people that live beside us. One of the main reasons we were trying to get out of there was, when they first moved over there, they didn't believe a woman should show any skin. So they got out there in 100-degree weather and they were wearing long sleeve shirts and digging ditches and
Long dresses.
oh my goodness. So now they have regressed and they're not doing that anymore.
They've evolved.
Oh, they're smoking cigarettes and got cut all their hair off. Oh my goodness. They've gone nuts. But anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
don't
Jeffrey went
Because I went to church, when I was a kid and
yeah.
until, I decided I was done and my mom quit making me go. And then I never went back. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
We were, went to Sunday school, as you do, and then we're fixing to go to the service right after. And the sermon was going to be about adultery. I was in 5th grade. I was talking to my mom. I was like, why am I even here? I was like, this isn't applicable to me for like another 15 years. I was like, I understand the concept. It's pretty straightforward. It was like, you don't cheat on your spouse. I was like, this doesn't even pertain to me. Why do I? She was like, well, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to. So I said, okay. And I stood up and I walked out in my church clothes all the way home and never went back.
Yeah.
Those leather shoes were a little chafing by the time I finally got home. But,
Yeah.
Men are fallible, Humans are fallible. That's what they say. And most of that Bible was written by people, If you take the lines...
The way I said, God inspired.
Yeah, but if you take the lines in red, right, the ones that came right out of his mouth, most of that stuff, like out of Jesus' mouth, it's actually pretty uplifting. It's pretty supportive, don't judge others, take care of each other, forgive these people.
There you go.
Most of the stuff I actually have beef with were written by fallible men.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, my mother-in-law says she believes in it, Grandma, but she don't believe in anything that Paul wrote. And Paul wrote most of the New Testament. He wrote, he wrote a ton of it. She don't believe in all that. So,
Well,
Yeah, Jeffrey's, when he has health issues from time to time, he'll call us up and we'll tell him we're praying for him. And, and because I believe in prayer. I believe prayer can heal you. And I believe God, and back in those days, Jesus healed people. And when he went back to heaven, he said, you will do more things now with the Holy Spirit living in you. See, that's what happens when you receive Christ as your Savior. You get that Holy Spirit living in you. And it's like somebody said, something told me to do that. Well, that's God telling you to do that. That's not, and a lot of people that don't even profess Christ as their Savior.
Yeah, I think that's, and also folks that believe like you, most of what humans fear is the unknown, right? It's uncertainty. Like when you don't know what's going to happen, or loss of control, when you're just completely out of control of the situation, that's scary. But prayer gives you something to do. It's like I can actually potentially affect change. I can have a little word. So,
and I've seen prayers answered so many times. God does answer prayer.
So that's one of those things that brings you peace.
You may think this is funny.
And happiness.
Gary was drinking a couple of years ago, and me and Holly got down there, and we prayed that it would taste bad to him. And about 6 weeks later, Gary came over and said, man, I had a beer, and that thing, I couldn't stand the taste of it. Me and Holly just laughed because we had been praying for that, and he hadn't drank since. So now I don't, I believe in prayer. I believe that I think that had something to do with it. I do.
I heard this piece. It was this person who was going through cancer treatment, and they were talking to their oncologist. I think that's what you call them. Yeah, cancer doctor.
Cancer doctor.
And they were saying, all right, well, here's some things you need to be doing. And they said, and also you can pray. And she said, and the lady was like, I'm an atheist. Like, why would I pray? And she goes, well, studies actually show prayer helps. And she said, but guess what? You don't actually have to pray to like God, right? Just pray.
Look how little those are.
Yeah. And so this lady said, all right, I can do that. And so she just prayed in general. And I mean, who knows whether it moved the needle or not, but I thought that was interesting. Because it's also kind of like a meditation, right? Where it's like you sort of,
to the one,
you're clear in your mind, you're communing with this higher power.
But you pray to the one that made you. You realize that gravity, if it was just a little bit stronger, it would smush you a little bit lighter and you'd fly off. So how does this, how can that be just happenstance? There has to be something up there that's holding it all together.
Sure. That makes you, that's your core belief. Absolutely.
Well, why do you think we're standing here not floating off? Well, or smashed flat?
Well, think about it like, how do people win the Mega Million lottery? It's random chance, right? And so you think about the infinite size.
This random chance?
What's what I'm saying?
Infinite here talking to one another?
It could be. But it could not be. I don't want to take anything from you. You just asked me my beliefs. I'm not trying to adjust yours. I definitely.
I am.
I never. Well, that's fine. You can go for it. I never want to take anything from you because I know it does make you happy.
It makes me who I am.
There you go. And I would never want to change that part of me.
Because God is love and he loves all of us. Just like you said, the red letters of Jesus, he loves us all.
Sure. Yeah.
And the devil hates you. He wants to see you destroyed.
I don't know. I think he likes to have a good time. I'm a pretty funny guy.
Devil?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm pretty hilarious.
But you're not.
Get to know me.
You're not the devil. No.
No.
Now, there's been times that I thought Gary might have been, filled with a demon spirit. See, I believe in demons. I don't know if you do. I do. I do. I believe in it.
And I don't believe in the concept of evil, because I think evil absolves somebody of what they did.
Well, I don't think anybody was born to be evil. I think it, when they're born little bitty babies, no. But when they get old and they're kill a bunch of people or they go
yeah
crazy.
Well, it's interesting. There's there's this podcast I listen to. Like, yeah, I listen a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it's called Ear Hustle, and it's recorded in San Quentin prison by the prisoners out in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think these people are criminals, right? They're prisoners.
Right.
So I used to lump them into this group, this nameless, faceless group of bad people.
They're all bad people. Right.
But then you start listening to these stories and you hear the conditions these poor kids were raised in.
Yep.
They didn't stand a chance.
Yep.
Not for a second. Just the worst environments you can possibly imagine. And then
So how are they going to turn out?
when they're 17, they commit a murder or something like that. And does anybody act surprised? You know, it's like if you take a piece of metal, you form it into a gun, you put a bullet in it, and it shoots and kills somebody. Why would you be surprised?
Right.
You know, that's how it was made. And these poor kids didn't stand a chance. And so I've heard people label these folks as evil, and they're not. They're just humans that were put in the worst conditions possible, and they were formed in this way. So to me, calling somebody evil gives all of those people that were horrible to them a free get out of jail free card.
I don't think they're evil, but I think there's demon spirits around here that cause people to do a lot of that stuff. I really believe that.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't.
I do.
I think it's
Chuck
people that are
used to, he would growl, and it just, it'd freak you out. There's no way that it was crystal meth and
yeah, drugs will do a lot to people. It's gonna change your brain permanently.
Y'all walked out?
Yeah. Just enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, man. I had to delayer pretty quick.
Yeah, I know. I was starting to sweat.
Well, this has been fun. I've enjoyed talking to you.
You enjoy talking to me too.